Belly fat often behaves like a quiet messenger, signaling that something deep inside the body is starting to shift long before most people notice. It doesn't shout, it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't ask for attention. It simply appears, little by little, in a way so subtle that many dismiss it as just aging. But what if this soft expansion around the waistline is actually the body's first alarm that testosterone levels are beginning to decline? The belly, unlike other areas of fat storage, reacts quickly to hormonal changes. And testosterone, a hormone tied to strength, drive, vitality, and metabolism, is one of the first to influence it. When testosterone dips, even slightly, your belly is often the first place to show it. This happens because abdominal fat cells are extremely sensitive to hormonal imbalances, quietly absorbing and storing more fat as the weeks go by. What makes this sign even more dangerous is that it hides in plain sight. A little increase here, a little softness there, nothing too dramatic at first, which is why most people ignore it. But deep inside, something far more complex and metabolic is happening. Something that goes way beyond appearance, and the earlier this is detected, the easier it is to reverse. And here's the twist. This invisible sign doesn't just reflect lower testosterone, it can also accelerate its decline. Your belly may be trying to warn you of a cycle that, once started, becomes very hard to break. But you'll understand this deeper connection very soon, still in this video. Before we continue, drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're watching this video from. Testosterone doesn't fall suddenly like a dropped stone. It falls quietly, like sand slipping through your fingers. Most people never notice the early decline because the symptoms disguise themselves as normal life. Feeling slightly tired, gaining a bit of weight, losing some edge in performance. But beneath these subtle changes, hormone production is slowing down, and the body starts to adjust to a new, less efficient metabolic reality. One of the most striking aspects of this silent fall is how the body tries to compensate. It shifts energy usage, reduces muscle protein synthesis, and increases fat storage, especially around the abdomen. This transformation happens gradually, which is why so many miss the moment when everything started to change. By the time they realize it, the belly fat is already there, settling in like an uninvited guest that refuses to leave. What makes testosterone decline particularly dangerous is how deceptive it is. There's no single moment that announces your hormone levels are dropping. Instead, the signs are subtle. Deeper fatigue, slower recovery after exercise, unexpected irritability, even a slight loss of confidence. These signs blend so naturally into daily life that most never connect them to hormone changes. But the belly does. It reacts faster than your mind does, faster than your habits do, and sometimes faster than blood tests reveal. And that's why understanding this silent fall is the key to stopping something much bigger that is about to unfold. When testosterone drops, belly fat reacts almost immediately. And there's a scientific reason for that. Abdominal fat cells contain a higher number of receptors that respond to hormonal fluctuations. Think of your belly as the front line of a battlefield. It's simply the first place that feels the impact when testosterone begins to decline. This makes it the earliest visible clue that something hormonal is shifting inside you.
Low testosterone slows down the body's ability to burn fat efficiently. This means that calories that once turned into energy now tend to settle around your waistline instead. Worse, belly fat is not just a passive storage area. It behaves like an active organ, releasing compounds that further disrupt hormonal balance. So the very thing that appears because testosterone is falling also helps push it even lower. What surprises many people is how quickly this change happens. A few weeks of stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, or even normal aging can create a noticeable difference in abdominal fat. It often begins before any major symptoms appear. The belly quietly expands, and because it's gradual, people don't recognize it as the first warning sign of hormonal imbalance. But here's the part most people never hear. Belly fat is not just reacting to testosterone loss, it's preparing the stage for a much bigger metabolic chain reaction. And once that reaction begins, stopping it becomes significantly harder. The next subtitle reveals exactly how this domino effect begins. Inside your cells, a hidden cascade begins the moment testosterone starts falling. Testosterone is a metabolic accelerator. It increases mitochondrial activity, boosts fat oxidation, and helps regulate glucose usage. When testosterone drops, these functions slow down like a machine losing power. Energy production decreases, fat storage increases, and the body becomes less efficient at burning calories. This shift triggers a chain reaction. As your cells become less responsive, your metabolism slows further. Even your appetite can change, leading to stronger cravings for sugar and carbohydrates. These foods temporarily boost energy, but quickly lead to extra fat storage, especially in the belly. Meanwhile, your muscles receive fewer signals to grow or maintain themselves, causing a gradual decline in muscle mass. And here's where the domino effect becomes truly dangerous. As muscle mass decreases, your metabolism slows even more. Less muscle means fewer calories burned at rest, which causes even more fat to accumulate. That accumulating fat then releases inflammatory chemicals that further interfere with testosterone production, creating a self-amplifying cycle. This is why many people feel like their body suddenly changed, even though the shift began quietly and slowly. But understanding this domino effect is the first step toward reversing it, and the next piece of the puzzle involves a hormone most people never think about until it's too late. When testosterone drops, insulin often rises, and this combination is one of the most powerful drivers of stubborn belly fat. Testosterone helps your cells use glucose efficiently. When it falls, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, which means your pancreas produces more of it. High insulin levels signal your body to store more fat, especially around the midsection, creating the perfect environment for abdominal fat growth. But the relationship goes deeper. As insulin rises, it suppresses testosterone production even further. So now you have low testosterone causing high insulin, and high insulin pushing testosterone even lower. This hormonal tug-of-war traps your metabolism in a cycle where fat loss becomes almost impossible, no matter how much you diet or exercise. The worst part is that this process doesn't just add fat, it locks it in place. High insulin prevents your body from accessing stored fat for energy. So even if you're eating less or working out more, your body keeps defending and preserving belly fat because insulin is ordering it to store, not burn. And here's something crucial. Many people only discover this cycle when symptoms like fatigue, cravings, and rapid belly growth hit all at once. But by the end of this video, you'll understand how to break this hormonal trap and how your belly fat reacts the moment testosterone finally rises again. When testosterone drops, belly fat increases. But what most people don't realize is that this belly fat doesn't just sit there. It becomes its own hormone factory, producing enzymes that convert testosterone into estrogen. This means that the very fat that appeared because your testosterone fell is now actively stealing even more of it. It's a loop that feeds itself, silently tightening with every passing week.
This cycle is one of the main reasons people suddenly feel like their body is working against them. You try dieting, exercising, cutting calories, or even training harder, but the belly fat stays. It stays because hormonally, the body is stuck in a loop where everything you do is undermined by metabolic resistance. Until the hormone cycle is broken, the fat cycle will continue. What makes this situation truly dangerous is how subtle it is at the beginning. The cycle doesn't start with a big event. It begins with tiny hormonal shifts, barely noticeable in daily life. But as the fat increases, aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen, increases too. And as estrogen rises, testosterone drops even more, further accelerating fat gain. Understanding this cycle is crucial because if you don't break it, belly fat becomes far more than an aesthetic issue. It becomes a hormonal trap. But fortunately, As you'll see later in this video, there are strategies that break this cycle faster than most imagine. Most people think belly fat just sits there, but abdominal fat is metabolically active. It produces inflammatory molecules that spread throughout the body. When testosterone levels decline, this inflammation grows stronger. And here's the twist. Inflammation blocks the body's ability to use testosterone effectively even when there's still some left. So now your belly fat isn't just growing, it's sabotaging the rest of your body. This inflammation also causes water retention, bloating, and a sense of heaviness in the midsection. Many mistake this for mere digestive discomfort, but it's actually a deeper metabolic alarm. As inflammatory cytokines rise, insulin resistance worsens, appetite increases, energy drops, and the body slips further into fat storage mode. It's a quiet chain reaction that makes everything harder. Thinking clearly, digesting food, sleeping well, even recovering from workouts. Another hidden effect of this inflammation is how it affects your mood. Chronic inflammation affects neurotransmitters, sometimes leading to irritability, low motivation, and mild depression, symptoms many people assume come from stress or aging. But often, the belly fat itself is creating these emotional shifts by altering brain chemistry from within. And here's the surprising part. The inflammation started by belly fat doesn't stay in the belly. It spreads to the liver, muscles, and even the brain. This is one of the main reasons belly fat is so stubborn when testosterone falls, because the inflammation it creates turns into a full-body resistance to fat loss. Testosterone's decline doesn't just impact fat, it hits your muscles with surprising speed. Muscles rely heavily on testosterone for maintenance and growth, so when levels drop, your body begins to lose lean mass, even if you're still active. With less muscle, your metabolism slows down, meaning you burn fewer calories throughout the day, even at rest. This shift alone sets the stage for rapid belly expansion. But the story doesn't stop there. As muscle mass decreases, your strength, stamina, and energy drop. Everyday tasks begin requiring more effort, and workouts feel harder than they used to. This reduced activity contributes to even more fat gain, creating another vicious loop: less muscle, less movement, more fat, even less testosterone. Your body becomes less efficient, and belly fat becomes the physical proof of this internal decline. Inside the muscle tissue itself, something even more concerning happens. Reduced testosterone lowers protein synthesis, meaning your muscles struggle to repair after exercise. This is why many people feel unusually sore or fatigued after workouts once their testosterone begins to fall. Their recovery slows dramatically, leading them to exercise less, which further accelerates muscle loss. And here's the twist. Belly fat actually grows faster when muscles shrink. Without strong muscles demanding energy, the body has no choice but to store more. This is one of the key turning points in the story, a point where restoring muscle becomes essential, not only for strength, but for saving your metabolism and reversing the belly expansion.
Sleep is one of the most powerful hormonal regulators, yet it's the factor most people underestimate. During deep sleep, your body releases pulses of testosterone that repair tissues, build muscle, and regulate metabolism. When your sleep is short, fragmented, or low quality, these pulses shrink dramatically. And when testosterone release drops at night, belly fat increases during the day, sometimes even if your diet hasn't changed. Lack of sleep also raises cortisol, the stress hormone that directly competes with testosterone. High cortisol blocks testosterone production, increases cravings for sugary foods, and pushes your body to store fat around the midsection. This is why even a single night of poor sleep can make you feel hungrier and softer around the belly the next morning. What most people don't know is that sleep deprivation increases insulin resistance in less than 1 week. This makes your body store fat faster and burn fat slower. Combine that with falling testosterone, and you have a metabolic storm brewing quietly inside you, the kind of storm that makes belly fat appear suddenly and stay stubbornly in place. But here's the real shock. Studies show that even restoring sleep alone, without diet changes, can increase testosterone significantly. Later in this video, you'll see why sleep is not just a recovery tool, but one of the most important weapons for shrinking belly fat naturally. Your diet can quietly sabotage your testosterone without you realizing it. Certain foods trigger insulin spikes, inflammation, and hormonal disruption, all of which accelerate belly fat growth. Sugary snacks, refined grains, and processed foods are among the biggest offenders. They create glucose surges that demand higher insulin production, trapping your metabolism in a fat-storing mode and lowering testosterone even further. But the danger doesn't stop at sugar. Industrial seed oils, found in fast food, fried snacks, margarine, and many packaged products, contain high levels of omega-6 fatty acids that increase inflammation. That inflammation then suppresses testosterone production and fuels abdominal fat storage. Many people consume these oils daily without ever realizing how dramatically they impact their hormones. Even common, healthy foods can turn against your testosterone when consumed excessively. For example, high intake of soy-based products can increase estrogen-like effects in the body, creating an unfriendly environment for testosterone. Alcohol is another silent attacker, reducing testosterone production and slowing fat oxidation, especially in the liver, a key organ in hormone metabolism. And here's something most people never suspect. Skipping meals or eating erratically can also harm testosterone. Your body perceives it as stress, raising cortisol and lowering anabolic hormones. But don't worry, soon in the next block, you'll discover exactly which habits and foods can reverse this damage and restore the hormonal environment your body desperately needs. Lasting belly fat reversal doesn't begin with extremes. It begins with simple, repeatable habits that restore balance from the inside out. Eating whole foods, reducing sugar spikes, hydrating consistently, and managing stress helps stabilize insulin, which in turn supports testosterone production. When insulin and testosterone stop fighting each other, belly fat becomes far easier to mobilize. Another overlooked habit is reducing exposure to hormone-disrupting chemicals. Plastics, household fragrances, and processed personal care products often release substances that mimic estrogen. When these compounds build up in the body, they quietly interfere with testosterone production. Small swaps, like using glass containers, avoiding heating food in plastic, or choosing fragrance-free options, can create a cleaner hormonal environment almost immediately.
Sunlight is another powerful ally. Morning sunlight boosts vitamin D levels, a micronutrient that directly supports testosterone synthesis. People with healthy vitamin D levels consistently show stronger metabolism, better mood, and lower abdominal fat. And before moving on, are your habits helping or harming your hormones? Comment below. I really want to know. Testosterone responds best to intensity, not duration. Long sessions of slow cardio can increase cortisol and suppress testosterone, especially when done daily. But explosive training like weightlifting, sprint intervals, and bodyweight power movements activates large muscle groups, demanding a strong hormonal response that naturally increases testosterone. Resistance training shines because it boosts both testosterone and growth hormone, creating a metabolic environment where belly fat is burned more aggressively. Even short, focused sessions twice or 3 times a week can trigger major hormonal improvements. The real secret isn't how much time you spend working out, but how intensely you challenge your muscles in short bursts. Recovery is equally important. Testosterone rises not only during the workout, but during deep sleep afterward. Poor rest cancels out the hormonal benefits of training, while good sleep amplifies them dramatically. Add simple daily habits like walking after meals, which stabilizes insulin, and you create a metabolic landscape where fat loss becomes significantly easier. When testosterone rises again, the metabolism reacts quickly. Fat cells become more responsive to lipolysis, breaking down stored fat for energy at a much faster rate. This is why people often notice their waist shrinking before the scale changes. Belly fat is finally being released instead of locked into storage. At the same time, muscles start rebuilding more efficiently. Testosterone boosts protein synthesis, helping muscles recover faster and grow stronger. More muscle means a higher resting metabolic rate, and a higher metabolic rate means your body burns more calories all day long, even while sitting or sleeping. This shift pulls energy away from fat storage and toward muscle repair. Internally, insulin sensitivity improves, and the liver processes fats more effectively. Visceral fat, the dangerous fat around the organs, is usually the first to disappear. As these fat stores shrink, aromatase activity decreases, meaning less testosterone is converted into estrogen. The vicious cycle finally reverses, turning into a positive feedback loop where fat loss boosts testosterone and testosterone accelerates fat loss. If you want to understand exactly what happens inside your body when visceral fat finally starts to break down, watch next. What happens when visceral fat finally starts to break down? Science explained. By now, the connection is clear. Testosterone and belly fat form a loop that can work against you or work for you, depending on your habits. The path to regaining control doesn't require perfection or extreme discipline. It requires strategic, consistent actions that help your hormones function the way they're designed to. Once you understand that belly fat is not just a physical change, but a metabolic signal, everything becomes easier. You stop guessing, stop forcing, and start correcting. Better sleep improves hormones. Smarter training activates them. Cleaner foods nourish them, and daily habits protect them. This is how energy rises, waistlines shrink, and vitality returns. Your body is always trying to return to balance, and testosterone is one of its most powerful tools. When you remove the obstacles and support your hormones with science-backed habits, your belly fat no longer stands a chance. If this video helped you understand your body better, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this information.